What's up, Charles?
How you doing there, brother?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good, bro. Pretty good. Pretty good. Hey, we switched over to Hawaiian Telcom.
Yeah.
So I get this new internet that is actually, I'm not even hardwired anymore. This is running off the Wi-Fi from my house. I mean, from inside the living room. And a lot of people have been posting about the quality, the stream, the clarity, the sound is much better now
hmm
with this new because it's so damn fast. So
But it's all fiber optics, right?
all fiber optics, bro. No more cable anymore.
Yeah,
Fiber
that's what
optics. So
that's what we do, and thanks to them, because of that, we didn't have to pay thousands of dollars to try to trench into the Honolulu airport because, believe it or not, there is no spectrum at the Honolulu airport, and because of that, I'm so grateful that Hawaiian Telcom um, brought their we went off one of their hubs at the airport for my entire offices. Unbelievable.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's night and day.
hmm
Night and day. My desktop is ju- it's just incredibly fast. So for those of you out there that have Spectrum, we've been having it, Charlie. Last year, we've been having some issues
Yeah.
with Spectrum, even during our streams, the TV. The only problems, Hawaiian Telcom doesn't have TV service, so they partnered with YouTube TV. So you go through YouTube TV and you actually watch your TV like you would with Spectrum. There's a cloud-based DVR system, so you can record unlimited. It's about $59 a month for the TV. It's about $59 a month for the cable. I mean, for the internet. So you pay about $120. So it saves me about 30 bucks a month. I so far I'm on a 30-day trial with Hawaiian Telcom. So far, I'm keeping them. I'm gonna keep them because it's just incredible the speed, the difference in the speed. So anyway, oh, nice
Well,
to see you, brother. We had a long time off with the Kamehameha Day uh, weekend. We took
hmm
off on Kamehameha Day, really to honor King Kamehameha and that holiday. So, but I
yeah.
did want to say, Charlie, I did want to say before we get started, I just really wanted to thank you for coordinating the peer-to-peer session that we had with Ross Higashi and Jimmy Tokioka and who else was on there now? I get short memory.
Yeah.
There was somebody else.
Ross, Jimmy, Craig Davis,
Craig
Craig
Davis
Davis from the airport.
and
Yeah.
Sue Kanoho, unfortunately, wasn't able. She was ill, so she couldn't come on. But I will say this, Charlie, that I had received, I'm sure you did too, received a lot of comments or messages, private messages, thanking us for having that discussion. So I just want to
Mm.
say thank you. Because Charlie put that together. I had absolutely
Just
nothing to do with that, but it was a
teamwork, brother. Teamwork.
very, very informative discussion. And the good thing about that discussion is that, as I stated that night, was the buck stops here. The people that
hmm
we had on the show were the people that is responsible
Yes.
for enforcing and setting the rules. So thank you for that, my friend.
Well, I thank you, but like I said, I do not take the credit. It's a team effort. It is always our hope that we can bring something on and share with our villagers, right? That
Hmm.
hopefully that the word can spread. It's all about sharing the manao, what we have inside, because I'm not real hep on going after people and giving citations. If I'll do it after you've been given the rules and you still engage in practices unbecoming, right? Then you deserve to have a citation. But I believe everyone deserves a chance first. And surprisingly, the calls I got were from people that didn't know, but now they know. They don't want problems. I put them in contact. I said, you know what? You can call Grove Farm. You can go. You can call Dave Sussner and Melissa McFerrin over at Kukui Grove if you want to, and you can call sources like them to see what's available. Warren Haruki over at Grove Farm
Mhm.
to source out location as well as your friend Jasper. Well, is that Jimmy? Jimmy Jasper?
Jimmy mentioned, yeah, I wasn't even aware of that facility.
Because of what Jimmy Tokioka said. So just having it, out there, it gives them the ability to pick and choose, and not get backed into a corner when they have to be confronted by someone like myself or my team. And I shouldn't say my team, our team, because we work in conjunction. And one thing I learned being a boss, I never like to refer to any team member as, "Oh, my team," or "my security." It's not my. They are the security of all. We all work together. So I may have a higher title than they do, but it doesn't matter. When things come down, I do what any other officer would do. I run to the scene. I get involved. In fact, I got disciplined for doing certain things that I was not, because in our contract, I cannot perform duties as an LEO or an ASO, even a TCO. Even if I wanted to issue a citation, I cannot by contract with the state. But I'm going to tell you this: if someone is getting hurt, you can be rest assured, screw the contract. I'm going to jump in. I'm not going to let anybody get hurt, because nobody signed up to work to be out on disability because they got injured on the job because of someone getting into a fisticuff with them. So I'm going to make sure that does not happen. That does not happen at all. And if I get fired because I did something that wasn't according to the contract, I'll take my licks and whatever discipline. But again, when it comes down to the safety of the personnel that I work with, the same way I go home, I want them to go home too. The same way, uninjured.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I think real quick shout out to Rick Hamada. I don't know if many of you know Rick. He runs he's on the morning show
Yes.
KHVH Radio AM 8:30. If you haven't listened to Rick's show, make sure you tune in tomorrow morning. He wasn't on this morning though. I tuned in and it was a substitute. I think he was flying back. I saw a post that he was on an airplane flying back home. But Rick Hamada, AM 8:30 KHVH every morning. He's like on for 3 hours, I believe. Mahalo for jumping in, Rick. Appreciate you, man. I want to get you on the show, my friend. I
Well,
want to get you on the
I
show.
want to share a story with you about Rick and his. I believe he married Bernadette, right? Um, I forgot his beautiful wife's name, but one of the Baracchios. Okay, that is his wife, and we met them because they got married at the Kolau ballrooms that Stephanie and I was operating back in the day. That's how far back I go with Mr. Rick Hamada.
Wow. I didn't
Yeah,
know that. I didn't know that, Charlie.
yeah.
Yeah, I met Rick a long time ago. I showed up at one of his events on Oahu because I had been listening to his show, and I just love to listen to Rick Hamada's show. And I was on Oahu at the time he had this event. I showed up, introduced myself, and
Hmm.
yeah, we've been friends ever since. So yeah, if you have a KHVH AM 8:30 in the morning, check it out. It's awesome,
But he has
awesome.
a
So tonight
beautiful
is
family.
Calabash. Yeah, I didn't know he was married to a Baracchio.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to definitely get. He got an interesting story that I'm not gonna spoil because that's gonna be the lure to get him on our show to
Hmm.
share with us his story. But tonight is Calabash night. Charlie and I. Uh, have been doing this for a long time, and sometimes we get our best fun just, as I say, shooting the shit. Just talking about whatever pops in our head. There's so much to talk about, so many things going on in our world nowadays. That it's very difficult to explain. And let me just start by, yeah, I was thinking today. I was watching the news, and in California, some places the gasoline prices is over $10 a gallon, and
Yeah.
we're well over.
Hmm.
We're almost at six here. But I Google why are gas prices so high, and you get all these different articles pop up, and it's it comes down to one thing, right? It's supply and demand.
Right.
Demand is high, right? It's basically the 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 oil companies, the gas companies, these fuel companies are taking advantage of the people, in my opinion. Now, there's no absolutely no economic or scientific expertise talking, but after the hurricane, Charlie, there were some places on Kauai that was gouging rice and spam, and
Yes.
and the state went after them. And I'm thinking, okay, I cannot believe that our government can sit back and allow this to happen when it's really tearing apart many areas in our country because people just cannot afford to pay these gas prices. So you see all the excuses. Oh well, the Russian war. Well, we come on, people. It's an opportunity, I think, for these companies to make a ton of money because they can. And I think the government got to step in and start taking a look and finding out, are they gouging, or is there really a serious shortage of fuel? I don't know. And I cannot really get a straight answer because depending on who you ask, you get a different answer. But it's kind of bizarre. It's just amazing how in some jurisdictions over $10 a gallon in some places in California. Wow,
Well,
that's insane.
to me, I think a lot of it is government driven because if you look what the government has done over the years, they put on all these taxes, right? And so the profit margin for these oil, not the oil company, but like say gas stations. Well, you can say the oil companies, right? But if you look at the profit margin, it was on the pennies per gallon. That's all they're making, pennies. If there was a way to take advantage of the situation and stay within the confines, meaning operating where it doesn't raise a red flag, right? Because they understand this was one of those times. So the question is, we haven't heard anything out of Ukraine or Russia, right? All this time. I mean, for the last, what, a couple months now, I haven't heard anything. But do you think that these prices would start to come down? The answer is no, because out of sight, out of mind. You don't pay attention to it, we can bring it up. Because why? I'm making back the profits now. And that's what happens when, when you had a lot of when the deregulation came in, right? And, some people will disagree with me, but, there needs to be some kind of regulated arm to say, hey, when you reach this amount, there needs to be some type of justification to say why. I mean, they do it right now. And there's Rick Kamada commenting, yes, Mahalo brother, uncle is right. And that's 21 years ago at the
Damn.
beautiful Ko'olau golf course. I mean, his bride was so beautiful, and I met their entire family. And of course, his sister-in-law was Miss America, right?
Yes.
Barakio. Yeah.
Yes.
So I think Bernard. Rick. Please forgive me. I believe Bernadette was with I believe I want to say KHON at the time. She was on the news. So I believe it was one of those stations. But as I was saying, look at the PUC, right? If companies want to increase their rates, PUC, you have to go to the commission and get approval. You just cannot unilaterally say, "Oh, now's a good time because we haven't asked for a rate increase in a long time." You have to go and state your case, right?
Hmm.
So why isn't it that you know why isn't it that we couldn't that we couldn't we can't do that for gas prices? Why can't we do that for rents, affordable rents? I mean, sometimes I look, and I understand. I mean, come on, let's be honest. If you invest your hard earnings and get a piece of property and you turn it into a rental, you would want to make an investment on it, right? But I tell you one thing, I get on conscience. I don't like get on investment when I know I'm gonna put somebody in dire straits, where basically 70% of their income is going towards rent. I wouldn't do that to them. That I always believe what goes around comes around. I'm a firm believer of that.
Yeah, so
So,
so am I, and I think
yeah.
karma will come around. But you know, this is the part that gets me, right.
Mm-hmm.
So our government, and I don't want to get into a political debate. That's the last thing I want to do on this show. But I will say this: is
Mm-hmm.
we stopped drilling, we stopped the pipelines, we stopped all of these things, right? But we're okay buying oil from countries that are less efficient and more damaging to our environment than our practices are, our industry. But we're okay with buying oil from other countries that don't give a damn about the climate, and that's okay. But we don't want to provide our own country's resources. And I know a lot of people get pissed off when I say that, but that's the truth. If you firmly believe that the environment is that important that you're going to stop all your oil production in our country, then by buying that oil from another country that is even worse at collecting this resource, then you're a hypocrite, right? You're a damn hypocrite if you're saying, "Oh no, we cannot drill for oil in America because it's gonna damage the environment," right? But we're gonna go ahead and go buy the oil from countries that don't care and are destroying the environment. So it's double talk, it's double speak, it's crap, and that's what upsets me. Is look at the gas rate. Somebody just popped up about baby formula. Yeah, how can our country, the United States of America, have a shortage of baby formula, which is a vital commodity for our keiki? How can that even happen? Right? There's no shortage of gas. We don't have a fuel shortage, right? So when you have a fuel shortage, I can see the prices going up. But we don't have a fuel shortage. We have greed, corporate greed that is driving up these prices.
Mm-hmm.
But baby formula, Charlie, how can it just bogs my mind. Feminine products, same thing. I saw that posted earlier.
Yep.
Thank God we have the people from movement that's going around the country and trying to advocate for governments to make sure that this doesn't happen.
Right.
So it's just it baffles me that we can sit back and as the United States of America and not have these things working properly. Uh, the baby formula is something that it just blows me away.
So someone asked, "Are you going on Facebook?" Um, I think we're playing on there now, so we should be on there. But
Yeah,
we are also we're on YouTube. What else? We got
we're on Twitter and we're on
Twitter.
LinkedIn. Yeah,
Yeah.
we are on all the platforms.
So
So yeah,
yeah.
she's
So with
watching us on YouTube, but yeah, you can
yeah.
come on. You can come on Facebook. It's on my
Yeah.
page.
Yep.
Facebook
Hmm.
is better because you get to see the comments.
Yeah.
You get to see the comments.
But you know
And,
what else I wanted to talk about too was um, we did not give a shout out to the graduates of 2022. I don't remember us doing it, both high school as well as college, and as well as those who are going from elementary school to intermediate, and to those little cakies that graduated from preschool that are going into the kindergarten, right? So I want to send a shout out to all of our graduates. Congratulations. You made it, and now the future is in the palm of your hands. For those of you that want to continue absorbing all the education that you can, I encourage you. As a proud grandpa, my granddaughter, who happened to represent Kauai as the Miss 2018 Miss Teen Kauai, right? She told the grandmother and I that, I got my double major and I'm going for my master's. And then after that, Papa, if you can help me, I want to go and get my PhD. What can a grandfather say? I say, baby, sky's the limit. You go for it. And as long as grandma and grandpa have the last breath of air that we can breathe, and we can help you, we're going to definitely do it. So I hope there's many other parents out there. I'm sure there is. Grandparents, friends. Right now what this world needs is just a lot of love and support to help our young ones get to where they need to get by using this. You don't have to use this anymore. Use this. And if we can help them get to that point, let's do it. Let's do it, gang.
Yeah, the opportunities are limitless now.
Mm-hmm.
Back in our day, it was tough. I mean, yeah, it was still possible, but it was a lot more difficult. Opportunities today. The unfortunate thing, Charlie, and the reality of it all is here in our state, the opportunities are much less
Mm-hmm.
than going over to the mainland or abroad for that matter. And I think that's what frustrates a lot of kids today is
Yes.
they're not stupid. They see what's happening. They see their parents struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And unless you come from a wealthy family that has a lot of land or homes that you can uh, slide right into, the reality is you're gonna have to leave. You're gonna have to go somewhere else. And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
these kids that I'm talking to parents today, a lot of our kids are going away for college with the intent to come back home,
Mm-hmm.
but in fact after their first or second year, they realize after they get accustomed to where they're at that the cost of living, housing, everything is so much uh, better than back home. I won't say better in the sense better as far as quality. I'm saying better in the sense of a quality of life. The
Mm-hmm.
fact that you can survive in many places on the mainland with one job and still
Mm.
not worry about being homeless. So
Right.
Hawaii is difficult, and it's tough, and it is the cost of paradise continues to rise. I started to get candidate surveys in the mail in email, and a lot of the questions focus around tourism. And one of the things that we have not even done yet is we have not figured out what our carrying capacity is for the different islands. How many people can we actually handle? How many people can our infrastructure handle? Our roads, our wastewater, our solid waste, our landfills. And yet, Charlie, I'm gonna be honest with you, man, and I don't know what your position on this is, but I think we've been dealt a set of lies as far as managing tourism. I don't see us managing tourism. I haven't seen anything other than some plans that were written and we spent a lot of money for. The state did that.
Well, I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you right now, Mel. The only one so far that is managing tourism and to keep its area pristine is the Hyena project. It's the only one of its kind in the state. You know that, and I know that, right?
Mhm.
You have to make reservations to get into Hyena. They only allow so many cars down there because there are residents that are affected. This program helps the balance between our visitors taking a look at something that's pristine and keeping it pristine. So we need that, all the way around. But I'll tell you one thing. You said something that was so important, and that is because we live out in the middle of the ocean, right? Just imagine if the 48 or 49 states, well, 48 states, right? US, United States of America. Just imagine if everything was separated. For some reason, the infrastructure of the ground just separated and each state floated on its own and they put water barriers between each one. I can almost assure you right now, they'd be in the same predicament as us, relying on shipping. Rails cannot get it. See, the mainland depend on rails heavily, right? They,
Oh,
they, re- they,
absolutely.
re- they rely on cross country trucking. You no longer have that ability. You can only truck interstate within your state itself. You cannot go outside. You're gonna have to you're gonna have to put them on barge. And one thing that really, for the life of me, and I'm just gonna say it, and it might be a foolish thing to me to do, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I don't know whose idea it was to say only. One shipping line can ship in Hawaii from island to island, right? And that's Young Brothers. Because I asked the question, hey, Matson, hey, Horizon, can you pick up a shipment from Kauai and take them to the Big Island for me? Ah, if the thing went to California, yeah, we can do from California, but not from Inter Island. I go, what do you mean? It has to be Young Brothers. That really kind of got under my skin. I say, why is that? Why is that?
Yeah. Well, in a few months, this state will have an opportunity to make some changes in
Right.
in leadership. Um, and we've talked about this, Charlie. We've talked about
Mm-hmm.
this. We've given our manao on how we as people, as voters, can make a difference. This year, unlike for the last decade, uh, all the seats, all the seats at the state capitol, all the House seats, all the Senate seats, the governor's seat, the lieutenant governor's seat. These are the seats that determine or that dictate state policy. Uh, every single one of them is up for grabs this in the next couple of months. And on August 13th is the primary
Mm-hmm.
election.
Right.
We as the voters have an opportunity to reset the direction of this state.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, Charlie, are the people going to do it? Are
Right.
the people going to make that conscious decision or make the effort to get to know the candidates running for our state offices? We're trying to bring them all on. I mean, we're trying to bring them all on. And I really don't care party. I don't care what. We want to bring everyone on that wants to come on.
Mm-hmm.
We want to. I want me too. I'm a voter. But people got to realize that this is an opportunity where we can reset. We can hit the reset button for the legislature. And I've said this before, Charlie. You and your districts, whatever districts you live in, you have the obligation to go out and make sure you understand your candidates and know your candidates that are running. And again, for this
Mm.
year, take the D and the R out. Just focus on the person, focus on the policy, focus on the heart, the compassion that they have for our local people. If every district does that and we end up with even half of a change with people that are willing to stand up and fight for the local people, we will be in a better place. We will be in a better place. We're not going to clean house 100%, but imagine if we could get half. But the only way that's going to happen is if we, the people, screen the candidates and stop voting for people because of the name. Get rid of that. Go learn your candidates and vote for the ones that can commit to working for the people and not special interests. That's kind of where we're at. But awesome opportunity for our state this year.
I tell you the reason why. People are just fed up because we've just had too much shibai. You might have a good candidate out there that is worthy of our vote, but nobody trusts anybody now because we've heard the BS for many years. That's the reason why. But you know what I would like, but I would like to see, why can't we have it be where who's ever running for office, they have to submit to a polygraph test, and we subject them to 10 simple questions that centers around their ability to be worthy of the office. And like they take the test, and I would like them to show the results to the people. Well, out of the 10, he bullshitted 6 times. Okay, brother, you out. And then the person that you really want, he may have bullshitted 9 times. I says, wow, oh crap, I was gonna vote for you, but you a bullshitter. See, we need that tool. We need that tool to kind of help assist us, because right now the only tool we have is a set of boots that come up to our hips because we walk in so much bullshit. We need that tool to take the edge off, to even out the playing field. We don't have that tool.
Well, the tool is getting to know them, right? You know, the thing with how I agree with you, Charlie. I agree with you 100%. Like no doubt about it. I think a lot of our viewers agree with you too. Um, and someone said, yeah, you know, they're gonna be good in the beginning, then they get swayed. Well, that's because of the current structure and the current people that's
Yeah.
in there. Because we put people in there and they rise to power and then they control, and then the young ones come in, the new ones come in, not necessarily young, but the new ones come in, and then they get molded. So that's what I'm saying. Now is an opportunity to reset, hit the reset button, hit the
Hmm.
reset button,
Right.
and start fresh, because that's the only way we're gonna make a difference. You'll never see this again until the next reapportionment, which is, you know, in another 20 years or whenever that is. So we need to take advantage of this opportunity. And if we cannot, then we cannot make those changes, then really it's on us, the voters. Because I'm going to tell you what happens in Hawaii, Charlie, and you know this, and I think most of the people know this, right? They never do the homework, right? Nobody get time for to do homework about candidates because nobody trusts them, like you said. Nobody wants to waste time trying to figure out who's what. But it's worth your time for this one, this election. But they go down the ballot, and either somebody told them what who to vote for, or they're going based on a name that they recognize that had more money and enough money that they could have commercials and TV commercials and newspaper commercials and radio commercials, so that that names stick in their head. So when they get time to the ballot, they're voting for a name that they recognize versus going out and learning about these candidates. And I think if they did that, even if 50% of the seats were to be scrutinized and replaced, we would see some positive change. And that's my only take on this. But this opportunity will come and it will go. This opportunity will come and it will go, and we'll see what happens.
Well, I think what they should do is if everybody wants to run for office, number one, they have to be real good at swimming. Because I would love to put them into like a saltwater pool, and we have a shark that will only attack liars, and a shark, no, I mean a shark that won't attack truthful people, but only liars. And if these people are confident enough in their swimming abilities, they'll jump in the pool and have at it, right? I mean, there is no way, a lot of times we vote based on our feeling. And what's so disappointing is that we vote for the way we feel and we go for it and we get so hurt when it's like, damn, I didn't put that damn fool in office. But just remember now, we're just one vote. But if your candidate gets put in office and he does so terrible and your friends voted for somebody else, you gonna get lickings from your friends. You gonna say, hey, stupid, you wouldn't vote for him. You one of the guilty ones and put him in office or her in office, right? So I
Yep.
wish there was a way that we can just cut through the mustard. I mean, you know, with science the way it is, we get facial recognition, we get polygraph, we get all of this. But when it comes to voting, we have no tools made available other than to, okay, which shyster can give the best bull crap story for us to believe? And that's how it is. I mean, I'm sorry. We've been doing that for so many years. And that's why I feel bad that when I go to hear a candidate talk, there's certain tag words I'm gonna listen for. Once that words come out, I go, lost my vote already. Why? Heard it before. Know what road we got led down to. Yeah, we got led into the cesspool, but nobody told me we was catching the end when then flush. Because once you flush, there's no way you can come back up. And I sorry for blowing my gasket on.
Oh, it, you know, I think somebody just posted. I think it was Marlene said, "Stop campaign donations, so no spendthrift under the table." Yeah, you know, that's one of the things. The campaign spending reports all available. It's very difficult to navigate, but it's there, and you know, you get to see who has uh, who has received the big money, because you know that would frighten me, right? If you see a candidate with all this outside money, mainland money, You see
Hmm.
this all this corporate money, very little money from the normal people, the regular people, but they base their entire candidacy on this monies that are coming from special interests, and I think that is a problem, and that should be addressed. Well, campaign reform. Why are we allowing any elected office person in elected office to be receiving campaign contributions when they're in a decision making period? Why are we allowing PACs to be able to donate unlimited amounts of money to certain candidates? If you can sit there and tell me that those donors don't expect something in return, then I have a bridge for you in Wailua for sale. Because let me tell you, all of that money comes with an expectation uh, for some favors later on. That's how it works. And if you want to stop that nonsense, then you stop the problem of that PAC money, the corporate money, all of that out of state money, and that's where you have to start. That's true campaign reform. That's true campaign reform.
I want to address something. This viewer tonight, Lane Semper. Hope I pronounced your name correctly, Lane. Asking what are the tag words for me? If I hear anything that sounds like this, if I'm elected, I promise. That is the one that gets under my skin because I've heard several of the top elected officials over the years use that, and they came out totally opposite. They came out opposite of what they promised. That's why, to me, I tell myself a good candidate will not promise me anything. If I was a candidate, I would just say, hey, this is Uncle Charlie Yona. I'm running for office. All I can do is the best that I've done working, and I've never led anybody to believe otherwise. And I'm going to do the same this time. That's all I can do. I can't say anymore. But I'm not going to promise you something that I know I'm going to take you down down one Calvary Forest with a lot of thorns ready to poke you in Okole because that's all she buy. That's all she buy. You look at the person and you look at what they did before. Hey, if you worked in a company that's been very successful and you never take advantage and you just gave to the people, because really to put this to a test, whoever run for office, think about this, right? They should put a cap. If you run for the governorship, right, your salary should only be 62,000 a year. That's the way I feel, right? I know you're not going to get rich on your salaries, but hey, you should be a cap. I know you're going to get a lot of guys over there going to be throwing dough at you. And the thing is this, you get caught, you shouldn't even be represented by an attorney when you go to court if you get caught doing something illegally. I just, it just got to the point. There's just so much shibai. But again, I know I'm cutting myself short because for those who have been good for the people, they should continue to serve. I got to be honest about that. And there are some that have been good for the people. Not all, but there have been some. And I believe that they should continue to serve. But when you get somebody coming up that have served, and we've seen their record before, and they come around again and says, give me a chance. Because I promise, if elected, sorry, I gave you a chance and you proved otherwise.
You
Do
bring up a
do do
very
do I sound like? I mean, I got something stuck in my bibbies. Oh man, I really the guy
no,
tonight.
I no, Charlie, no. You know what? You touched on something that is critical, right?
Mm,
Because let's okay, again, I'm going back to football. Coach, you the coach. I'm walking on, Charlie. I just had the worst career in my high school and college, and I'm at your NFL doorstep, and I said, "Hey, coach, I know I never do shit in the last 10 years, but put me on the team. I promise you, I'm gonna make 10 touchdowns, guy. I'm gonna make 100 tackles, And you say, "Oh, okay, you sound good." You deliver your message very well, and I'm going to disregard all of the crap that you never do in your football career. But I'm going to bring you in because I like you and you get on, you cute and whatever. Now, see, for incumbents, everyone comes with a record. Everyone comes with a record. You can, again, this goes back to when you do your homework, right? You go call the legislature and ask, you want to see all the voting record of the your representative or senator in your district, and go see. One thing that bothers me, this is a pet peeve I have, especially with all these commercials coming out on TV now. It's amazing how one person can go on TV and say that he or she did this project. I created this project. I created this program. I created this housing. I mean, are you serious? You know how many people it takes to put that together, including the community, including your colleagues, including the governor, if you're a state office, or the mayors in the counties. No one, no politician does anything alone. But I'm watching these commercials, Charlie, and I just saw one tonight. It just set me off. All of a sudden, this candidate is claiming that she or he did it all by themselves. Now, we as voters got to understand that that's not how it works. So it's very simple. If you have an incumbent, you have a new person running and is in your district, all you got to do is go find out what they've done or what they haven't done. What have they done and what have they not done? Because if someone's been in there for 10 years, 12 years, 14 years, 20 years, and they haven't really done much, then you might want to give someone else a try, right? Of course, if you get a knucklehead running against him, you got to take the lesser of two evils. But my point is this: we got to do our homework, people. And when a candidate comes up and said, "I," don't vote for him. Number one, he's not a team player. Number two, it's not possible in elected office to do anything by yourself.
Yes.
So watch
Yes.
these commercials, and when that person that says it, scratch him off the list, or at least put him on the who. I got to go look into this because no one does anything alone. But they're quick to take the credit. Yeah, I would also say that you should take the non-credit for all the crap that has occurred in the last 10 years that put us in the position that we're in today.
Right.
You
Exactly.
should take responsibility for the things that you never do, right? If you folks have worked for 10 years or whatever and you guys have failed, then you need to take responsibility. When was the last time, Charlie? And this is a true question, and for our villagers as well. When was the last time you heard any politician come out and say that they apologized because we couldn't get something done? Or do they
Zero.
just say, or do they just say, "Hey,
Zero.
elect me again, and I promise I'm gonna get it done this time." You know, crossroads, man, crossroads, guys.
Okay, I got a good one. Okay. So tonight, my thought process was a little skewed with the polygraph test. So some says, okay, I'm sorry I said that. What about this? That we pass a law going forward that in any election, candidates cannot do any TV commercials or run any ads. That means they have to pound the beat like the old ways and go door to door to get their votes. You cannot run any ads. You cannot do any television commercials. You just do old style, put on your walking shoes. And if you're in a 15th district, 20th district, whatever, heaven help you if you're on district that's half of Oahu, you get plenty walking to do. But if you get on district that is very big, you start early and you knock and you go door to door and say, Aloha no. I'm Uncle Charlie Iona. I'm running for county council.
Like how it used to be, Charlie.
Yeah. But if you
Like
get
how,
caught if you get caught doing an ad, and you got to make the law so specific that if any agents acting on behalf doing it that way, you immediately disqualified from office for that go around. I think you then see people, true people. The ones that are really serious, because aren't they the ones that's supposed to be answering to their constituents? They're going to see. You tell me right now, how many of these people right now have seen all the constituents in their district? You tell me. You cannot tell me you've seen every single one. Maybe you've seen some of them after you already got elected. I'm talking about before you get elected. Now's the time for you do the do and walk the walk if you're going to talk the talk. That's all I say.
Yeah, yeah. You know, some jurisdictions go to what is called public funded elections. So basically, there's no fundraising. The state provides each candidate the same amount of money. Now, some people will complain, jump up. I ain't paying for no campaign. Well, they no grumble about corruption, right? Because money drives it all. So if everybody's limited to 25 grand for a county office or 50 grand for a state 2-year office, maybe 50 grand for a 4-year office, whatever it is. Now, imagine the campaign spending office gets all their funds from, in your taxes when they ask you, do you want to contribute so much to your campaign, which everybody should be. I check no, but that's where the funds come out. That's what the funds come out. That funds go to pay. So there will be a cost, but it'll be a cost that will take care of the widespread spread corruption in campaigns. So you cannot accept donations from corporates, from unions, from special interests. That's not allowed. Here's your money. Everybody's on the same playing field. Now you go use them for buy your signs. You go use them for do what you like do. But everybody has the same amount for that specific election. Now that is what I would support.
But
Granted, it
but
comes with a price tag. It
but
comes with a
Mel, you
price
you
tag.
know people going to cheat. You know people going to cheat.
Well, they
If
cannot
if
cheat.
no, if you only give them a certain amount of money, right? It's,
Hmm.
it's gonna come through the wood. It's gonna come through the back, the backroom deals where next thing you know, this candidate. I mean, like say on each island, what I would do is you have a campaign um, startup division, right? They say, okay, Mel Raposo, you council, okay, you get 50 signs. That's all you can have. I give you 50 signs. You're running for governor, you get 100 signs. Now that contests your wit on how strategically you can place those signs where to get the most exposure, right?
Hmm.
Some of these buffoons right now, I don't know where the committees come from, but I tell you what, if you get one guy all in one area, some lolos, they put up 20 signs on one property. For what? One sign no enough for get the message out. That's what I'm talking about. Because what I look at people when they put out signs is says, hey, that person was pretty akamai, put them over there, strategically placed, right? They use their resources wisely. That means that's telling me that if that person got in office, they're probably going to use the resources made available to them wisely and not spend to the point that we run broke. That's
Well,
what I'm saying.
the thing is, they're not going to be able to do anything beyond the money that they receive. So if you choose to buy signs, you buy signs. You want to run with that amount of money, you're not going to be able to do much. You're going to be forced to, like you said, Charlie. You're going to be forced to pound the pavement. You're going to be forced to go out and meet people. Like, whoa, what a concept, yeah. And the campaign spending. I tell you, they check every single report. They check your bank account. So it's very hard to cheat. But what we have now, the system that we have now, um, it's crazy.
Hmm.
It's you have a this is what I don't understand, right? You have a campaign spending limit. Let's say for the governor's race, you have a $6,000 campaign spending limit for a specific from a specific person. But a PAC committee is unlimited, right? So a PAC committee that is made up of all the special interests can drop $1 million in a candidate's campaign account, and that makes no sense, right? So that's why when you have candidates that are relying on this outside PAC money, that's where you run into problems where all of a sudden the people, the guy that had donated $20 or $100, his call not getting answered by the person in the office, right? It's not. You might get an email response or a letter, but the guy that has dropped that much money into a governor's campaign, I can tell you, is expecting that candidate's cell phone number, that governor's cell phone number that he can call at all times, and that has to stop. I mean, I think that's where we run into problems. You can see by the time the primary election hits us in August, actually the ballots not going to start going out next month, the absentee ballots. You're going to have commercials with every so often. You're going to have a show. Then you're going to have commercials, and then you might have a piece of a show, a regular show that you normally watch. It's going to be flooded with commercials, all the nice stuff, nice music, beautiful scenery, people saying how great they are. Oh my God. Just look at the record. Check the record.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, folks, it's about that time.
Uh-oh. What
It's
did it?
about that time to take a sip of my soda.
I had to go with decaf coffee tonight. Decaf coffee tonight. Decaf coffee.
But I did want to
But,
kind of shift gears a little.
well, before you shift gears, I just did
Yeah.
want to say that what you said earlier, that not every person is bad that's serving today.
Mm-hmm.
We have very good representatives. We have very good senators. So it's up to us to do our due diligence and determine for your district that you're in. Let's see. You guys need to deal with reality. Okay, Scotty.
Okay,
Whatever.
Jerry, what he's saying.
I
It's,
just,
well,
I you know,
let's see what Scotty is saying. Our good friend
just
Scotty Shapiro.
you guys need to deal with reality. I know. I tell you why that struck a nerve, because I'm an investigator, right, Charlie? I've been an investigator now for since I was 19 years old. I was a cop. I've been doing all my adult life, and I interviewed a guy today who was very upset and told me that I don't know how to ask the right questions. This guy is not anyway. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't ask the right questions, whatever. There's plenty stuff I think should happen too. I think all residential landlords should only be allowed to make long-term leases on their properties, minimum 6 months. But Mel said we aren't allowed. Elections coming fast. So Mel never said it's not allowed. Mel, you see, this is Scotty. This is one thing that I'm gonna be straight with you, buddy. Read what I said in a post. I said residential areas, you can prohibit short-term rentals. That's what I said. Go back, check the post that you started, and read my comment. If I pull them up, if you want me to pull them up, I can pull them up to show. Because I don't like when people put words in my mouth. I get pissed off when people put words in my mouth. What I said was, and I'm speaking for Kauai, the county can prohibit short-term rentals in residential areas as long as they're not grandfathered in. They had vacation rentals before the law passed. In visitor destination areas, short-term rentals are perfectly legal. That's just the way it is. So when you talk about landlords should not be allowed to rent short term, that law is in place. If you're in a residential area and that short term rental is not grandfathered in, which is unfortunately a rule that we got to abide by because that's what the Supreme Court said, then our county enforcement needs to be stricter. We need to go out and charge these people $10,000 a day, which is what the fine is, to get them to stop their operations. But I never said, Scotty, that we cannot. What I said is you cannot. We can prohibit short-term rentals in residential areas. So please, if you're going to quote me, quote what I say and not what you want people to believe. Make me upset. Don't do that. I've been in this county a long time, very long time. Visitor destination areas, Poipu, Princeville, Nawili Willie. Those areas are visitor destination areas. That's what they're entitled to have short-term rentals. Makani Road, where I live, no, you cannot have a short-term rental, and that's so. Anyway, yeah, Reina, thank you. That's one thing I can say. You can agree or disagree with what I say or what I believe, but one thing you're not going to hear is bullshit. I don't tell you how I feel, and I'm going to tell you to don't misquote me because then I get really angry, and I might even block you. Okay. Anyway, thank you for letting me vent, Charlie.
No, it's I think
No,
no,
man, I think it's all right.
the only reason why I'm laughing
That's why I
is
kind of avoided that comment because I just not going.
no,
I'm not going to
I
engage
knew
with that kind of people. You
I,
know.
I I knew that, but I think in all fairness, I know your compassion is for Kauai Mel. So please, that that goes without saying.
Oh, let me
And
just
I
say this. I don't want to. I don't want to make this about me because I have my deal on Thursday night. So you guys can hear from me on Thursday night. I did not want to make this about me tonight, but anyway, I,
but but as I was saying before, there are a lot of things that coming up. We got up on the election as one of the things that we talk about tonight. But I also wanted to talk about our health care. I'm really starting to get worried that we don't have enough healthcare professionals in our state, and it's kind of bothering me a little, especially when like a good friend of mine was just medevac a couple days ago. He's a dialysis patient, and we knew something was wrong because he wasn't getting the proper blood flow, and so everything was thought to be, well, we need to redo the shunt in his arm. Well, lo and behold, it was more than that. Is his vessels in his heart, his arteries were getting blocked, and he needed emergency surgery. So he had to go to Honolulu. And I understand, but to have someone wait in the ER for 6+ hours and they're struggling to breathe. And when I found that out, that really got me worried to think I could have been one of those back in 2012 when I went to the ER. I could have been pushed into the hallway and left there. And that's why I think we need, I thank all the recent graduates of nursing school from the University of Hawaii, from KCC, from Kapiolani Community College, anyone. And before in the old days, that profession was only for women. Now I'm so glad to see a lot of Kane men getting involved in the medical field. And a lot of them said, "Hey, I'm perfectly fine being an RN. I don't have to be an MD." But nevertheless, I am so grateful that they're adding to the workforce because we need more medical professionals in the state of Hawaii. And I don't think they've been appreciated enough, especially with COVID. A lot of them got some bad rap, and it was and that bad rap came from those who did not believe in COVID. And my only thing to say to them is, why'd you take it out on the nursing staff for? They was only there trying to help keep somebody alive. If you don't believe in COVID, then take it out on who you think the higher power should be, whether it's the hospital administrator or our government. But don't go take it out on the worker bees. And the saddest thing too, heaven forbid that you should get sick and one of them remember you as you took off after them and decide, you know what, you need an aspirin. And they take the slow boat to China to get you an aspirin. Guess what happened to you? You suffer. That's why I feel so sorry. But again, one of our dear, she's like a daughter to me. And that's no hidden secret. Melissa Bolton. She works at one of our medical facilities on Oahu. She was getting cracks left and right. Now we look at Dr. Dang, right? Kaohimano. She getting cracks left and right. So what we need the reinforcements to come in and help. We cannot always be relying on these traveling nurses. They're good, but we know that they're not going to make Hawaii their home. They're here just for a short bit and they go back where they came from. I'm looking at people that's willing to stay in Hawaii to keep Hawaii safe. That's what I'm looking at.
I just laughing at Dwayne's comment. He's heard the word bullshit and crazy stuff several times today on the news. So me too, Dwayne. Me too. It's kind of, it's kind of awkward when you hear it on TV though. It's like, wow, I can't
Yeah.
believe they let that go. On the Mel and Charlie show, you never know what's going to come out, but on national TV, it's kind of shocking. I thought it was cool though. It is what it is. You call them as you see it. But you trying to, Charlie, you bring up a very good point, and there needs to be this effort, yeah, from all the stakeholders, that we gotta have more PCPs. There's a shortage of PCPs.
Yeah.
You just primary care doctors. It's hard to get them to come in. Cost of living is so high, and it's just the pay scales are not as high as they are in the mainland. And you're right, man. I mean, traveling nurses, well, they serve a purpose, but they also come with an expense, right? Number one, they're not cheap. Number two, they take up housing resources from our local people. So, but of course, when we're in a crisis like with COVID, you need them. You don't have the resources here, so you have no choice.
Mm-hmm.
But there's
Yep.
a lot of things, and again, you don't hear much about that, right, Charlie? I mean, you hear the legislature give up millions and millions and millions of dollars to the healthcare, the state healthcare system, rightfully so. But it's these, we just don't have enough medical resources for our population, and the population continues to grow, and the demands on our healthcare industry is way too much. It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming, and you know this, Charlie, because you're very close to many people that work in hospitals, as I am, and I can tell you, and when I was at Queens, it's obvious that they're overwhelmed. Uh, when they kick you out of the room early because they need the bed.
Well, you're
So,
speaking from experience, Mel. To me, that I mean, you didn't get a tonsil surgery. Yours was more serious. So when I heard that, I told Stephanie, I've never heard of anyone being taken out of their room and pushed into the lobby. That is so.
well, Charlie,
Hmm.
it's triaging, right? You look at the two patients, and they need to get the more serious patient in the room, which means the less serious patient. I thank God that the surgery went well, but
But Mel, this is the point I try
it's
to
like,
make. You're gonna get to a certain point where you won't be able to triage. That's why the
yeah,
night that I
exactly.
was in the ICU, there are people lined up in the hallways in the ICU being tended to. That's what I'm saying. You got to the point where triaging is non-effective. You got to put them as close to the life-saving machines as possible. And in and in the lobby is not one of those areas. You talk
Yeah.
about cleanliness, right? You've got no control. You had open wounds from your surgery. What's to say somebody never have something that could have been bad for you come by and just cough in your area? You think nothing gonna happen to you? It's happened before. I'm just saying that, maybe that's their protocol, but you know, for me, I would have said, you know what, we're gonna charge you. We're gonna charge you what we're gonna charge you, right? I would have got you a car. I would have gotten you a hotel, and I would have had a home care nurse assigned to you in that hotel with you. That's what I would have done if I
Yeah.
was a hospital administrator. That's what I would have done.
Well, Patsy became a home care nurse immediately. She had to change the dressing. Whatever. But it goes to the point what you're saying, Charlie. You're absolutely right. And it's not the nurse's fault. It's not the doctor's fault. It's the administration, right? It's the administration of that facility. Uh, and I saw a lot of nurses. I saw my doc. After the surgery, I saw my doctor twice for very short periods of time. Who is responsible for taking care of the patient is the nurses. The nurses got to respond to the buzzer every time I call. I mean, and those are the ones that are just overwhelmed and overtasked and got to deal with the patient. So yeah, Charlie, I'm with you, buddy. I'm with
Mhm.
you, man. But not much is said about that, right? In fact, not much is said about COVID anymore at all. And
Well,
this issue surfaced because of COVID, because we never had that kind of crisis in our hospitals where where we were triaging patients with tents outside. I mean, that was COVID. And now you turn on the news, nothing. It's all good. It's all good. Having fun
If
in the neighborhood.
I would like to say, if there's anyone out there who has Prime Video, if you haven't seen this series, it's called Bosch, Harry Bosch. He's an LAPD cop. I spent the entire weekend going through 7 seasons and all the episodes. Now I'm on the Bosch Legacy, and I'll tell you the reason why. It's the analytical thinking that he looks at something and he looks for the not so obvious. That's the reason why. And why I started to get flashbacks, because as a traffic investigator as well as a death investigator, I don't want to sound insensitive when I say you see a body, you see one, you see them all. That's not it. That's not what I'm saying. There's always something around that body that's a little different, that's not so obvious. And it used to pique my interest why it's there. How did it get there? Those are the kind of evidence that I think we as humans should be looking, such as with our candidates. Sometimes we see the obvious, we're just looking at them. We're not really looking at the not so obvious. And sometimes we got to pay more attention, because that's going to tell us something about someone's character. Now, I know you're telling me, okay, what's not so obvious about Uncle Charlie that we haven't seen yet? Well, ladies and gentlemen, Uncle Charlie is like an open book. What you see is what you get. And those of you that see me on stage perform before, you guys gonna know I can get pretty out there, but it's all in good fun. We have good fun.
I love Bosch. I love Bosch. I'm a
Yeah,
Bosch guy, man. That guy
yeah,
he's an amazing dude, man. He's amazing.
yep,
Great show. It's a great show. Yeah,
yeah.
I awesome show. Yeah, you get stuck on the binge. You get stuck on the binge, Charlie. Your life just disappears.
Well,
Like,
if my wife can spend the entire Sunday watching all the reruns of When Calls the Heart on the Hallmark Channel,
that's it,
then I have every right to watch Bosch.
Charlie. YouTube TV on YouTube TV.
Uh-huh.
There's three Hallmark channels. Three. There's
Well,
Hallmark. There's Hallmark drama and Hallmark mysteries and something. There's three.
that's on
So
the
that
YouTube. Is that on the YouTube channel?
on the YouTube TV. Yeah, you gotta
Well, that's the
you got.
reason why I don't prescribe that, nor did I put it up on my screen. And since you let the cat out of the bag, I'm gonna come home tomorrow, and my big 60 whatever inch TV gonna be overrun by the tree that you just mentioned. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, buddy.
It's 14-day free trial. So let her watch for 14 days and then cut them off.
Oh man, I just got things going good with the AC, newly installed AC, and now I gotta. Boy,
Steph,
sure.
three Hallmark channels, three of them, three, and unlimited DVR, so you can record them all, so you can actually watch Hallmark twenty four
Brother,
seven.
I'm gonna
And
tell you something. I actually went through withdrawals because when I was on season 7 of Bosch, I was actually going through some withdrawals, and I play episode 6. I rewind them to episode 5, and I go watch them again because I know when I reach 8, gonna be power ready. Not
yeah,
knowing that there was a Bosch legacy, but
yes,
with Bosch legacy, it comes with the commercials. With the regular Bosch, you can fast forward if you like skip certain parts, right? With the Bosch legacy, once the commercials start, you hit that fast forward, it says unavailable. That means you gotta sit there and watch the damn commercial.
yeah, yeah. I don't like the commercials. YouTube TV is the best, way cheaper than cable. Yes, sir. Get all the sports you can actually. I watched the Super Bowl today. I watched the whole Super Bowl today. Yeah, it's
Re-
awesome. It's awesome. Quality is
Raylene, don't encourage Auntie Stephanie, because Mel just did it for me. Mel just. Mel just threw me under the bus on that one.
It's anti-Steph. It's tv.youtube.com. You don't need cable. You don't need cable. It's cable-free TV. You just need Wi-Fi. tv.youtube.com, anti-Steph. I would, by the time Charlie is done with this show tonight, you're gonna be watching Hallmark channel number two. It's
Well,
that fast. It's that fast.
I actually signed up for a new class. It's called acapella acapella snoring. You know when you snore in different keys.
I guarantee you get Hallmark on the TV outside right now.
Please,
One
how
of the
much
three
cost?
channels. One of the three Hallmark channels. How much cost? It's feel like $59 a month. But if you sign up, they give you like 3 months, $10 off or something.
Mel, why can't you just let it go, Mel?
No,
Why are you?
I'm responding to the question. I'm seeing Tyson said 64.99. Mine
No,
is $5 less.
you responding, but remember the last thing you said before you responded?
What?
Stephanie.
Well, I know she's listening. If she's not, she will watch the replay. But it's three of them. You get three. Did I mention you get three Hallmark channels? Did I mention that? I don't know if I mentioned that, but you get three Hallmark channels.
Yes,
That's
you
like a
did.
ton of Hallmark movies. That's like
Oh, yes, you did.
get all my wrestling shows, all of them, all the ones that yeah, it's awesome, man.
Mm.
Awesome.
Oh boy. But
Hey,
anyway, gang, did you folks enjoy tonight with the Manao Hour with Uncle Charlie and Uncle Mel? Question mark. Well, I have to say this, Mel. I'm surprised I blew my gasket a little. The flange just kind of go boom, boom. The thing I think hit 10 tonight. Usually I stay around the 2 to 3, but tonight it hit 10. Wow.
I was shocked, Charlie. I was
Yes.
actually shocked. That was an awesome dialogue, though. I appreciate the discussion. Wednesday we're gonna I got a couple invites out for some doctors. Wednesday the COVID numbers come out. I want to have that discussion on Wednesday. Friday we have Shopo with some new things that popped up. Actually, I heard Shopo on the Rick Hamada show. They have a Shopo hour once a week, and so I immediately reached out and asked if they could come on. So it'll be cool. It'll be cool. But yeah, Wednesday
Yeah.
we'll try to get one of our doctor friends on or experts to dissect the numbers on Wednesday. I know this much. Uh, I have not seen this many people infected with COVID at this current moment as we speak for the last over 2 years. It seems like right now COVID is all over our island, all
You
over
know,
our island.
you know what I want to do, if we can. I would like, what plagues many of us. For Hawaiians, many of us we have bad diets, right? We have high blood pressure, diabetes, coronary disease, and it's just in our DNA. And I would like to bring on professionals in those areas that can maybe address. I mean, exercising, yes, but there are other things that exercising alone will not do. Sometimes you need medical intervention, and that's what happened to me. Medical intervention, I had no choice. But I'd like, to help our villagers because they themselves may be affected, or they may have a loved one that's affected, to get them some medical professionals on air so we can talk about it so they can get an idea maybe what next steps to take if they so choose to listen and take the advice from them. But I think because as we're getting on in our years, especially like you're in your late 50s, Mel.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I'm in my early 60s. I want to be around so I can, see my granddaughters walk down the aisles, my grandchildren, that point in time. And but in reality, depending on your family tree, sometimes it's hereditary. You are just dealt with those cards, and some may not live to a ripe old age, but yet There are always those that defy that law, right? They say,
Mhm.
well, my mom and dad lived to their 60s, but my grandparents lived to their 90s. And that's passed down to you too. So hopefully, it skips a generation. But then the sad thing is, then your kids are affected with so hopefully we can bring on some professionals to kind of talk about it and kind of help us navigate through health issues that will, you know, if we do things right, it shouldn't fall upon us. But just be prepared if something should go little to the left or little to the right outside of our lane, that we can talk to these medical professionals to kind of guide us and give us some ideas of what actions we should start taking when we have the time to do it. And I always say this: when you have a chance to see a friend now, or to bring friends that you're very close to flowers, you do it now. Don't do it when they're gone. You do it now. You get a chance to see your friends now, do it now, because tomorrow is never promised. And if you ever crossed that path and made some bad decisions that affected people, if you have a chance to go, and Mel brought it up earlier, we've never heard anyone say they were sorry. But I'm going to tell you this: I've apologized many a times to some individuals that I arrested, and I may have kind of manhandled them a little too much once I put them in the squad car. You know, I think sooner than later you find that person in your life that you think maybe you have done them wrong, whatever the situation may be. Go out and tell them you're sorry, because get it off your chest. I mean, it did me, and I feel better by doing it. So, I'm not trying to sound like a preacher. I'm just trying to sound like someone who tries to be a good person. I try my best anyway.
Thank you for that, Charles. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Melissa says she's going to talk to Dr. Itagaki from Oahu. Um, I don't know him, but if Melissa thinks he's a good source, definitely would welcome anyone on the show that can share information that is valuable for our viewers. Because that's what we want to do. We want to keep you guys fed with information, keep you guys informed. So, anyway, Charles, any closing thoughts before we head out?
No, it's always thought provoking when we can discuss things, and sometimes we'll hit a nerve deep in the core. But hopefully, when everything is all said and done, even with COVID, I don't know when it's gonna be done. But no use being at odds. We gotta walk down that long and narrow path, and we're gonna have to do it with people that we may not care about, but we're still gonna have to do it. And so let's get on that right path and do it, because when it's all said and done, we all have to go back and learn how to take care of each other, if we're no matter what island we're on. But I believe that if you call Hawaii your home, your arm stretches wide from Kauai all the way to Kohala on the Big Island, and as wide as Nanakuli on Oahu, and Kahului on Maui, and Molokai, Holehua, Lanai City. You do your best to reach out wherever you can. So I hope and pray you folks had a nice time tonight, and whatever information we was able to share with you out there, that you'll be able to use that information well. So until the next time, love you all. Thank you, Mel. Back to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Charlie. Thank you, villagers, for putting up with us for tonight. I know it was kind of off topic, but that was the plan, to just have a discussion or whatever comes up. It's never planned on our show when it's just me and Charlie. Wednesday night we'll have hopefully we'll have one of our doctor friends on to talk about the numbers that comes out Wednesday 9 o'clock in the morning, and Friday we have Shopo that's going to be discussing what's going on with the departments throughout the state, police departments.
Hmm.
A lot of changes going on. And on Thursday, just a little plug for my talk story. I got a little talk story Facebook Live for everyone that is interested in hearing about why I'm deciding to run for Kauai County Council. Please join us. It's free. It's not a fundraiser. You get to, and I will be taking questions from the comments as they come up. So with that, again, Charlie, thank you. To the villagers, mahalo. Have a great evening. Stay safe. Take care. God bless. We love you guys.